But just be honest with us. What is the Lakers' ceiling with DeAndre Ayton?
The Lakers ceiling. Wow, that's a good question. Now, he definitely feels a need for the Lakers, but I'm not sure if he's the answer in winning a championship, Key and TJ. I mean, if you had told me that they were getting the Joker or Antetokounmpo, then I would have been like, oh, they should be the favorites. But since they're getting a guy who's still trying to find his way in the NBA, he's been on multiple teams, this being his third team, and I believe 6 years being the #1 pick and not really yet finding a home, I'm not sure how much he pushes the needle. Now, yes, he can bring some intangibles that they need. A shot blocker, a lob threat, a big guy in the middle are things that all the things that the Lakers needed. So in answering your question, what's the Lakers' ceiling with DeAndre Ayton? Now, they lost in the first round in 3 straight years.
Here we go.
Man, I think they're ceiling, truthfully, Key, I think they're still in need of more athleticism and more defense on the perimeter. I think they're a second-round ceiling. You know, you got to understand LeBron is a year older. Will LeBron play 65 or more games? That's got to factor into it. How healthy will Luka be? They don't have too much depth yet. So if they make it to the second round with the roster as constructed, that's a win-win for the Lakers. Just being honest.
You know, I look at them as a championship-type team. I don't know if they can get there or not, but if you go back to last year, TJ, and we looked at the Mark Williams kid. The Mark Williams kid we made the trade for, then all of a sudden the medical didn't work out. Everybody was hyped about that. DeAndre Ayton is a better basketball player than him. Being put in the right situation, you think Mark, last year he averaged 15 and 10. Well, DeAndre Ayton was 14 and 10 in only 40 games. His high when the Suns went to the championship that year that they lost, he was 18 and 10. His career average is 16.5 in 10. That's pretty good basketball, I would say, for a 5. You know, this isn't, we're not talking about a guy who's shooting.
It's solid.
It's very solid. So if you add him, TJ, with Luka, and even though LeBron is older, but guess how long we've been saying that? About 10 years.
5, 6, 7
About 10 years now. Oh, he's a little bit older.
No, he's really older.
He's a little bit older. And he's still going to average like 26. He's
20s. In the 20s.
But see, that's the Laker hate. That's the Laker hate.
In the 20s, he averaged 24. He'll be in the 20s still. Yes.
Okay, so let's say he give you a solid quarter.
23.
You just can't do it.
He's just coming off 24.
Okay, so give him 25. He's gonna take a step up.
As he get older, just keep taking steps up, Key.
Well, I mean, the last 10 years he got older. He keeps taking steps up.
It's Luka's team now.
I don't think it's Luka's team yet, TJ.
Come on now.
What you think the ceiling is for us?
I'm with you. It's competing for a championship. It's competing for a championship, and this is why. Our weakness was perimeter defense and a big guy. We needed a center. We needed a center.
A rim protector.
We can still
lob threat.
Get somebody on a perimeter. Just any game that we play in, for the most part, you got Luka, you got LeBron, you got DeAndre Ayton. We're going to have 3 of the top 8 players on any team. Majority of the guys we go against, the majority of teams we play, we're going to have 3 of the top 8 guys. We're going to have 3 of the top 8 guys. If it's starting 10, if we play the Denver Nuggets right now, you're going to put Jokic over him, you're going to put Jamal Murray over him, nobody else on Denver. So we always going to have somewhat of an advantage when it comes to the top players in a starting lineup. When you start talking like this, the hunger that you can hear in his voice, he knows he got something to prove. We got he's the first pick. Yeah. Luka was the 3rd pick in the same draft. The last, if I can recall, guys that do that was actually LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. With LeBron being the 1st pick, Chris Bosh being the 4th pick, and Dwayne Wade being the 5th pick. You got 2 of the top 3 guys on the same draft class on the same team, and he's hungry. They vilified him. They vilified him in Phoenix. They vilified him in Portland. He hungry.
What you looking at?
Yeah, I get it. And he has every right to be motivated, being that he's going to be in a great culture. But look, this team ain't I just looked at that starting 5. That starting 5 ain't stopping nobody on defense. When I look at, and I'm looking at the teams in the West, Houston, OKC, Denver. Look at this.
Team defense.
Look at this.
We played.
Luka
We
gonna
played
come back
pretty
a
good
different
team.
defensive player.
Yeah, we played pretty good team defense at the start of the Luka.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did.
Y'all
Yeah, we
Whatever
did.
it call it,
2
2 or
weeks.
3 weeks, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it.
It's 6 months to the season. Y'all played good defense for 2
He
weeks.
had just got there, though, Paul. He's going to be in training camp.
No, look.
We're going to be better
October
on
with
defense.
us.
We're going to be better.
So where do you see the Lakers falling in? Like, what seed? What you think?
We're the third seed. We at least 1 through 4.
1 through 4?
1 through 4.
I would say we
We're
at
the
least,
third seed.
I
We're
would
1 through 4.
say we're going to be at least 3 or 4.
Nope. OKC going to be in the top.
That's why I didn't say 1.
Denver going to be in there.
See, I don't buy Denver like you buy
Houston
Denver.
going to be in there.
That's why I said
Houston and
3 through
OKC.
4.
Minnesota going to be in there. That's 4 right there. They going to be in the top 5.
I don't know where Minnesota going to be. I know Minnesota's
And
going to be a
then-
tough out, but I don't know where they're going to be.
Clippers going to be in there.
They'll fall apart.
And then a healthy Warriors team. Jimmy Butler.
The healthy Warriors team is
older
not
than
better
us.
than us.
Yeah.
A healthy Warriors
Talking
team
about
are not better than us.
They pushed Minnesota to 7 games, right? No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
A healthy
They
Warriors
pushed-
team
they
is not
pushed
better
Houston,
than
pushed them to
us.
7 games, but they beat Minnesota at least once or twice. Played them better than the Lakers did.
No,
they did.
we didn't have a rim protector. We had
No
Rudy
Steph.
Gobert out there looking like Kareem and Bill Russell in a combination. So it changes now with DeAndre Ayton. I understand when you look at DeAndre Ayton, Paul, and you look at where he started at in Phoenix, and then all of a sudden they said goodbye, and then Portland decided to say goodbye. But
So why?
could it be that I'm in a different space in my mind because I'm in a different place now?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be different
Right.
than I was in Phoenix.
He
or
has to be
Portland.
different.
Right.
Well, whether he has to or not, sometimes when you're in a bad situation, you don't necessarily give it your all. You want to get your check and go home. In this situation, when you're in LA and you're playing for the Lakers at that position in particular,
Okay.
you gonna come to play.
Right.
You can listen to him in his presser and tell, okay, for day one so far with a Laker uniform on, he seems very motivated.
Yeah, all his presser's been like that. When he got drafted, I saw his presser. When he got drafted, he was like, I can't wait for this opportunity. I love DeAndre Ayton, but I got to see it. I got to see the change in attitude. I got to see what his character is going to be like. You know, this is the thing. It ain't been the question of his talent. It's been a question of him being motivated. It's been a question of him living up to being the #1 pick. Now, he's been solid as a NBA player. 16, 15, and 10, them are solid numbers. I can't take that away. But when you've been traded around the league a few times and you a #1 pick and it's only been 6 years, there has to be some other question marks. Can he fit in a culture with a winning environment when he's not used to that? Hopefully, this is the perfect environment for him. I love that he's with LeBron and Luka, and it can change his perspective on the day-to-day, being ready on what it's like to be a pro, because this is exactly what he needs. So hopefully it'll work out. But still, even if it worked out to that, and his talent and his mind is there, I'm looking at what everybody got better. Like, how much better did the Lakers actually get?
We got what we wanted, which was a 5. That's
Got what we
needed.
wanted and needed.
And needed in the worst way. Speaking of LeBron, TJ, does LeBron still fit with the Lakers, given the fact that DeAndre Ayton and Luka's there?
When you had a talented LeBron, you fit on any team. Great athletes, great players will find a way to make sure they can fit in, that they can add value to a team. I see no problem with LeBron not fit. I don't see how there can be a conflict. Now, is he going to have the ball as much now with Luka? Probably not. But when Luka got traded to Lakers, everybody said, oh, man, this is a bad fit. This is not going to work. It worked pretty damn well to me. They worked out really well. Now, started off strong and it surprised everybody. Yeah, we went to the playoffs and things didn't go the way we planned and we would have liked. But I thought that combination of Luka and LeBron was really good. Now it's going to be up to J.J. Redick to see how can he spread these minutes out to where if LeBron is sitting in the corner while Luka is dribbling the ball, like that has to be a minimum. Luka can't dribble the ball 17, 18 seconds of the shot clock and everybody, you're not going to be able to do that all season, every possession. They're going to figure that out now that you have a training camp, but 100% LeBron fit in with the Lakers if he want to fit in.
Now, Key, you said the question was, does LeBron still fit on the Lakers? I don't think he does. Because if we're saying moving forward that this is Luka's team, and Luka needs a certain type of roster to thrive and carry, they're too kind of repetitive. Now, are you asking LeBron to be a 3-and-D guy? LeBron, go stand in the corner. We need you spotting up. Those are the type of players that Luka thrived under, a lob threat, guys being ready to shoot when he penetrated. So if LeBron has the ball, you're taking away from Luka. Are you going to be asking Luka to set screens, stand in the corner?
But
Kyrie Irving don't do that. He didn't do that. He's not sitting in the corner waiting to shoot the three.
But LeBron did some of that.
Was.
But LeBron did some of that at the start last year. When they got Luka, Luka was bringing the ball up the court. LeBron was going into the corner.
Key, all my relationships were great at the beginning. I'm single now. And I'm single. Like, it was great. At the beginning, it was great. The honeymoon, all that. It was boom, boom, boom.
And you're talking about personal relationships, not on the court.
Then when we settled in, oh, man, come on. Now that they settled in, look what happened. They got swept in the playoffs, a gentleman's sweep, 4-1. So it's like, who's going to change their game for who?
I don't think anybody going to change the
Luka's
game.
the future. So
No, of course he's the future,
you think JJ going to go into practice like, all right, we got to defer?
But Paul, like, Luka's never won a championship, so his way and his style of playing is not winning the championship.
He got
so
there,
at
though.
some point, but he didn't win it. At some point, you got to realize, like, how I'm doing things isn't working. And so I'm not going to change completely, but I got to change a little bit.
They got to play to his strengths.
So, look, so
Moving forward.
what does Chris Paul do for us if we bring in Chris Paul? Half-court offense?
He makes y'all a lot older. On
That
average.
clearly we get older. We might be the oldest team in the league at that point.
And then you have two 40-year-olds that's going to be hanging out, going to dinners and drinking wine on the road. That's what Chris Paul is going to do for y'all.
So you don't.
That's
So
it.
you get ready to tell me he can't set Luka up or LeBron up or nobody like that.
Listen, the Lakers don't want to bring the old people's home to the locker room now. Come on.
Well, the last time we did that, we found ourselves in a championship. They just fell apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they didn't have two 40-year-olds.
I don't know how old. I don't know how old.
Nobody. This is the oldest.
Malone and
LeBron is
GP
the
were at that
oldest.
time.
Two
They weren't
40.
40.
Two
No, they
40
probably wasn't.
And then you just had the youngest team and second
GP
youngest
was up,
team.
but Malone was up there,
They wasn't 40 though.
and GP had a hole in his glove. So
Yeah.
Chris Paul and Ayton, they played the NBA Finals together.
they did. They
I
played
don't
in the
like
NBA
that. Lakers got to get younger and more athletic on the perimeter. What was the issue? They defense, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have no athletics. They couldn't keep up with Ant. He out there and going through his Jordan mode, throwing the.
But now
he
with
doing the
Ayton,
Spider-Man
now with
thing,
Ayton in the
doing-
middle, though,
Come on.
you're not just getting layups now. They're gonna be contested layups. You're not just getting to the paint
The knock on
and nobody's
Ayton-
there to challenge you.
The knock on Ayton is like he don't play hard all the time.
Yeah,
He pouts
but
to the
Paul,
Like, all right,
that
all
happens
changes.
in a lot of
I'll change it.
situations because
What's
of
gonna happen
this-
if he's not getting the ball like he used to?
But he understands coming to LA gives him a better chance to be the guy that he was supposed to be coming out of Arizona. Change of environment, change of scenery.
What option is he?
He did. Ooh.
16
He
and
might
10.
be.
How
The
more
option, he
is
might be the 3.5.
3B?
He's gonna be the fourth.
3.5.
At best, fourth option.
So it's
At
going to be
best.
obviously LeBron, Luka, then Reeves.
And then maybe Richie, and then maybe Rui.
Yeah,
He might be
whatever,
the
man.
fifth.
I can't listen to you.
Yeah, you're not.
I got to
that
talk
woke him
about.
up. That woke him up. He gonna be.
Yeah, when you said the option, though, that's.
Yeah, that's what
Look,
I'm saying.
Put it this way.
They're not gonna just be
It's a
coming
work in
out.
progress.
But this is the thing, though. If he catch 3 to 4 lobs a game, you get 4 to 5 offensive rebounds. You got to get your own points.
Okay.
Get you some rebounds.
Lobs is not gonna be there because you don't
the
have
Lobs
the
gonna be
shooters.
there.
They're going to be
Luka
there.
All right, because he has shooters. So if LeBron is spotting up while he pick and rolling with him, if I'm helping out on LeBron, I'm like, go ahead, kick it to LeBron for 3. I'm helping on this lob. Go ahead.
You act like LeBron threes are just horrible.
No, I ain't say that, but I'm taking the lesser of two evils with LeBron. Because LeBron slashing and going to the basket, I don't want none of that. But that 3, he can have that.
But he 40-something% from 3. Anyway, let's talk about a young team. The Thunder have agreed to a fully guaranteed 5-year rookie max extension with Chet Holmgren. The deal could reach up to $250 million and keeps him in OKC through 2031. They also locked up SGA to the Supermax extension last week. So, Paul, are the Thunder on track to being the next dynasty?
They're absolutely on the track. They're on the track. And what I mean by that, you have to win one to get on track. So now, who's on the side? We're on the track. but there's 3 teams that's on the track in my eyes that I feel like it. The Celtics are still on track. Think about it. They just won last year, right?
They got a whole new team, Paul.
That's all right. They still got their core. But they still built to win a championship when you got those 2. Denver's on track because they just reloaded. So say this. Denver won 2 years ago, right? So now you like, all right, if they win next year, because Denver can win it next year, that's going to be their second one in like 3-4 years. You're on track to be a dynasty because a dynasty is 3 chips in a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
Like if you win 3 and 6, that's still a dynasty.
I just don't see Denver. I don't see Denver.
Denver's right there. They took OKC to 7. They pushed them to the brink.
OKC had never been in that situation. Like, they're young. OKC ain't going to be that way again in 26, 27.
But
25, 26.
But I'm saying Denver got better. You understand? With the best player that got more weapons now, if they stay healthy, they right there. Celtics may not be there next year, but the year after, they're going to be right back in the mix. So are they on track? Absolutely on track. They got a young core. They signed all their players. They're going to be back. They're going to be scary for the next 4 or 5 years, being that if they can stay together.
They on the road. They on the road for a dynasty, but so much has to go right. That's the biggest problem is you have to have great health. You got to have a bit of luck. Like, Holmgren missed some time last year. Mm-hmm. If he missed time, like, there's just so much. And then now, when you win, guys want to get paid. So now they've given Holmgren a max rookie extension. They're going to give Jalen Williams a max rookie extension. At some point, when they start hitting that apron,
they're going to have to pay the piper.
They're going to have to start paying guys, and now they're going to be in the tax apron, and they're going to lose guys. So are they on track? Yeah, they're on track. Will they be I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's not going to happen because of what Paul just, there's just so many teams that are right there. Denver, Boston, Houston.
And it's like, and will we be having this conversation if Halliburton didn't go down? Will we be having this conversation even about whether or not they would be a dynasty? The fact that they got out of there with a victory in Game 7, it allows us to have this conversation. But you got to also think about the money. The money in contracts are so important.
This was looking at Boston right now.
Think about what Boston. They paid $300 million, another $300 million, $70 million, $80 million. And then they start saying, well, we got to get rid of him, him, and him.
Right.
And him, and we ain't going to re-sign him. And now we're going to wait on Tatum to come back in 26, 27. What does that even look like for Boston? So you got to think that unless they are able to do it in the next 4 years, so to speak, that means you knocking championships down in these next 4 years.
What idea was it with these tax aprons and all that? Like, where does this come from?
Collective bargaining agreement.
Man, they need to get rid of that. They need to get. Yeah, they need to get rid of it. Like, nobody.
Then the advantage is going to be with the big market teams who make the money.
Like, nobody. You start liking the team. Oh, we got to let him go. We can't afford to pay him. We going to be in a tax apron. Like, nobody wants that. Let these dudes stay on these teams. Let people build dominant teams.
Yeah, but it ain't about what the fans want. It's about what the owners want.
You're still making money either way. You're still making money either way.
They'd rather make $5 than $1.50.
Because when you look at this Oklahoma, they about to pay Jalen Williams. They're going to give up almost $1 billion in contracts this offseason to SGA, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. Yeah. Just those 3 guys.
Yep.
About 800 something million.
When your bench players come up, they're going to want to be paid. So now you're going to lose what makes you a really good team, and that's
what OKC kind of went through before with Westbrook and Durant and James Harden and Ibaka and those dudes, because their contracts was coming up and everybody wanted to get paid. They couldn't pay the Beard. The Beard
they chose Ibaka over James Harden.
Yeah.
So they had to make they had to pick and choose.